The stadium settles into a tense silence as the athletes step onto the track. The women's 800 meters is moments away from exploding into action. In lane 1 stands Germany's Kolbe, focused and motionless. Beside her in lane 2, Italy's Marcher Zanoni prepares for the challenge ahead. Switzerland's Lur Hoffmann waits in lane 3, while Valentina Rosilia takes her position in lane 4. Out in lane 5 is the athlete everyone is watching, Femke Bol. Just ahead of them, the pacer, Gree, is ready to do her job, drive the tempo and stretch the field from the very first meters. And all eyes return to Bol. Over the past 2 seasons, she has redefined what is possible on the track. 2 years ago, she shattered the indoor world record in the 400 meters with a breathtaking 49.17. She has also run 50.95 in the 400-meter hurdles, making her the second fastest woman in history behind Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. But tonight is something different. Tonight marks Bol's bold debut in the 800 meters. The plan for this race is already clear. The pacer is expected to drag the field through the first 400 meters in a blazing 57 seconds, an aggressive rhythm that will immediately test the endurance of every runner on the track. For Bol, history is within reach. The Dutch indoor national record stands at 2 minutes and 1 second, a mark untouched since 2001. Many believe that simply reaching that time might only be the beginning. If everything clicks tonight, the record could fall. The runners settle into their blocks, the tension builds, and as the gun fires, the pacer surges forward to take control of the pace. Bol reacts quickly, bursting off the line with controlled aggression. But instead of rushing straight to the front, she shows patience, holding just behind the pacer, carefully measuring the early tempo as the race begins to unfold. The pacer quickly takes control of the race, pushing the pace from the very beginning. Right behind her is Femke Bol, who starts aggressively, but still looks completely relaxed. The first 200 meters fly by in under 27 seconds, a very fast opening for an 800-meter race. Bol stays right on the pacer's shoulder, smartly letting the pacer do the hard work while she settles into a strong rhythm. As they reach the halfway mark, the clock shows 56.6 seconds through 400 meters, exactly on the planned 57-second pace. The tempo is aggressive, but Bol still looks comfortable and in control. This is a special moment. It's Bol's 800-meter debut, and she is already leading the race. Soon, the pacer steps off the track, and suddenly, Bol finds herself alone at the front. Behind her, the rest of the field begins to slowly close the gap, sensing that the real race is just beginning. The bell rings for the final lap at 1:28, but the pace drops significantly. That third 200 meters is much slower, around 32 seconds, showing that the early speed is starting to take its toll. Bol is clearly slowing down, and now the big question is whether the indoor 400-meter world record holder can hold on through the final stretch. With the finish line approaching, the pressure grows. The other runners begin to move closer, and Bol suddenly has company in the last 100 meters. It becomes a battle of endurance as she fights to maintain her lead in her very first professional 800-meter race. Bol pushes through the final meters and crosses the line first. The clock stops at 1:59.05. It's not just a victory, it's a new Dutch national record. An incredible debut for Femke Bol. Exhausted after the effort, she sits down on the track and later admits with a smile that the race felt much longer than she's used to. But the result speaks for itself. A historic performance in her first ever 800 meters. As the race unfolded, all eyes were naturally drawn to Femke Bol. Entering the competition with the reputation of one of the most dominant 400-meter athletes in the world, her transition to the 800 meters immediately raised intrigue. This was unfamiliar territory for her, a longer, more tactical race that demands not only speed, but also patience, endurance, and precise pacing. From the very beginning, Bol showed confidence and composure. She didn't panic, or waste energy fighting for position. Instead, she placed herself perfectly behind the pacer, allowing the tempo to be dictated while she conserved energy. That decision revealed a lot about her racing intelligence. Many athletes in their first 800-meter race would either go out too hard or hesitate too much, but Bol found the balance early on. Her stride looked smooth, relaxed, and controlled through the opening lap. The first 400 meters in around 57 seconds was fast, but clearly within her comfort zone. After all, this is an athlete who holds the indoor world record in the 400 meters. That explosive speed is her greatest weapon, and during the early part of the race, she looked completely at ease handling the pace. Her posture remained upright, her stride long and efficient, showing almost no visible signs of strain. However, the true test of the 800 meters always begins in the second lap. Once the pacer stepped aside, Bol suddenly had to take control of the race herself. That's where things became more complicated. Without the pacer maintaining the rhythm, the pace dropped slightly, and the field began to sense an opportunity. For Bol, this was the moment where her lack of experience at this distance started to show. The third 200 meters was noticeably slower. It wasn't a collapse by any means, but it was clear that she was entering unfamiliar physical territory. The 800 meters demands a different type of endurance than the 400, and even an athlete of Bol's caliber must adapt to that challenge. Her stride lost a bit of its early sharpness, and the runners behind her began to close the gap. Yet, what stood out most was her determination. Even as fatigue started creeping in, Bol refused to give up the lead. Her competitive instinct took over. In the final stretch, when other athletes began to pressure her, she dug deep and relied on the speed that made her famous in the first place. That finishing strength ultimately made the difference. Despite the fatigue of the second lap, she managed to hold her form just enough to reach the finish line first. Stopping the clock at 1:59.05, Bol not only won the race, but also set a new Dutch national record indoors in the 800 meters. For a debut performance, it was remarkable. What this race revealed about Femke Bol is that her talent extends far beyond the 400 meters. She showed tactical awareness, composure under pressure, and the ability to endure the brutal final moments of an 800-meter race. Of course, there is still room for development at this distance, especially in maintaining pace during the third 200 meters. But the potential is undeniable. If this performance is any indication, Femke Bol's future in middle distance racing could be incredibly exciting. Her speed, combined with growing endurance and experience, could make her a serious contender in races far beyond the one-lap events where she first built her reputation. As the race reached its dramatic conclusion, the tension on the track was unmistakable. The early confidence of Femke Bol had carried her through the opening stages, but now the final meters demanded everything she had left. Her stride was no longer as effortless as it had been during the first lap. The fatigue of an unfamiliar distance was clearly setting in, and the chasing athletes sensed their moment. With just over 100 meters remaining, the race tightened. The field behind began to close the gap, forcing Bol to dig deeper than ever before. This was the moment where pure instinct took over. Years of elite competition in the 400 meters had built a powerful finishing ability. And even as her legs grew heavy, that sprinting strength began to reappear. The crowd could feel the drama building. Every stride looked like a battle between exhaustion and determination. Bol leaned forward, driving her arms harder, refusing to surrender the lead she had held for most of the race. And then, the final meters. Bol crossed the line in 1 minute 59.05 seconds, setting a new Dutch indoor national record in her very first professional 800-meter race. Exhausted but smiling, she sat down on the track, clearly feeling the difference of the longer distance. It was more than just a win. It was a powerful debut that showed Femke Bol might have a bright future in the 800 meters as well.